Hello and welcome to my channel, and I'd like to thank all my family, friends and subscribers for lending me their ears. And if you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe at the bottom of this YouTube video. Now in my last video I called it part 1 of the history of the rifle. Well, I'm going to change it slightly, really it should be part 1 of the history of the Rifleman. But where did we start? We started with the 62nd Royal American Rifles, which was formed in 1755, which a year later became 60th Royal American because 2 regiments were struck off the line of foot. Shan't dwell on that. And we ended with when the regiment was given its motto, which is Cela et Ardu, which every rifleman knows today, has passed down for generations, which means swift and bold. Now, it was given to us by General Wolfe, and it's famous. One of the reasons it's famous for is giving us our motto. Second reason why it's famous within the Green Jacket ranks is he's actually died on the attack on Quebec. And there is a famous painting where he's surrounded by his officers as he's dying, and one of the gentlemen in there is wearing a green coat. This is more than likely Henry Bouquet. Can't say for certain, but Henry Bouquet was a Swiss citizen who was commanding officer of the 1st Battalion of the 60th. Now, he was quite instrumental in developing our tactics of fighting in the forest, of carrying light equipment, camouflage. His ideas in tactics, camouflage, and introduction of unofficially of rifles and green battle dress, which was adopted 150 years later by the rest of the British Army. It was quite full advance of anything at that time. And in developing the esprit de corps, which is lasted all that time for every rifleman. Every rifleman has a special esprit de corps. Now, it's a special bond. I'm not saying the British Army don't have it. They all do, but we in the rifles as riflemen think we are a little bit different than the rest of the British Army. We have a saying within our regiment, the thinking rifleman, which is developed by Henry Bouquet. Because when you're fighting in the forest, you can't depend upon orders from somebody else. You have to think for yourself if you want to survive. If you want your unit to survive, you want to survive. You have to be able to think on your feet and not dependent upon orders from above. Anyway, let's move on. Now, after the battle of Quebec, during that year, we got our first 2 battalions in Louisburg and Quebec in 1559. Also, the 2nd, the 3rd and 4th Battalion was shipped off to the West Indies and were instrumental in getting our 3rd and 4th battalions, which was Martinique and Havana, where they wrested the control of Martinique from the French and were instrumental in the capture of the city of Havana in Cuba. which had to be given back to the French and the Spanish in the Treaty of, I can't remember what the treaty is called, but the peace treaty was signed in 1763, which secured British control of North America. Now, the 3rd and 4th Battalion at the end of the 7-Year War was disbanded, and the 1st and 2nd Battalion stayed basically. The 1st Battalion stayed in North America, developing their tactics of fighting within the forests, and the 2nd Battalion was shipped off to the Caribbean, to the West Indies. Now, there was much for them to do apart from police action against Native Americans, which was one of them was against the Great Plains Indians around in Illinois. It's called the Pontiac Uprising. We shan't dwell on that. I'm not one of to dwell on history against Native Americans. It was their land. But anyway, let's move on. So what happened in North America? Now, you no longer have a threat by the Spanish or the French. So guess what? What happens is, in those days they turn against each other. Southern states decided that they wanted representation if they're going to pay their taxes. So, and the British government wouldn't give it to them. So they decided that they no longer wanted to be ruled by Britain. They wanted to rule themselves. So the American War of Independence started. So what happened is that the 3rd and 4th Battalion was quickly reformed on the Isle of Wight and shipped off to the southern states in Florida and Georgia to fight in the American Civil War. Now, still shan't dwell on that because it was not quite distinct, although the regiment fought quite distinguished in distinguishing their tactics. Also, the 43rd and 52nd Regiment of Foot, which became the light infantry, they fought quite well. They eventually lost against a ragtag bunch of civilians because of, basically Britain was fighting a world war because France and Spain, seeing Britain took the side of the rebels, and so Britain was once again fighting France, and a world war against France and Spain with the American settlers who were aligned with the American settlers. So eventually Britain had to give up its colonies because it didn't want to lose any more of its territory to France and Spain in the rest of the world. So let's recap. The regiment was formed as a regular grenadier battalion, basically with foreigners, basically, and basically American settlers. And when they couldn't secure enough recruits from Germany and Switzerland in North America as well, they added the cast off the rest of the British Army to make up the numbers. So, and they thought the regiment quite developed some advanced tactics in the 1st regiment, to unofficially use the rifles, because their commanders were quite maverick and their men were quite maverick, and they developed a esprit de corps which still stands today, which has been passed on to all riflemen today, no matter what rank you are. Anyway, so we're going to end it there, with Britain giving up the colonies, although the regiment fought quite well. and being shipped off to the Caribbean and back to the Isle of Wight at the end of the American Civil War. So, if you like what you hear, you'd like to hear the next chapter in the Rifleman, the story of the Rifleman, please join us on my next video. Like and subscribe, and you click on the bell notification. Will tell you when the next video comes out. Okay, so we'll see you again, and to fellow riflemen out there, Sailor et Artu.